Like AI is great for administrative things, marketing pieces, or things like that. But AI is not right for negotiations or judgment or looking someone in the eye and understanding tone and body language and those kinds of things. Like the human element has to be it still has to be in there.
Hello, everyone. Sergio Tiffer here, and welcome back to Cracking the Code, the podcast where we explore the strategies, ideas, and innovations helping real estate professionals build stronger businesses. Today's guest brings a particularly interesting combination of technology, entrepreneurship, and real estate. Steve Luther is the co-founder and broker of CHORD Real Estate, a Middle Tennessee brokerage built around personalized concierge-level representation. Before real estate, Steve spent nearly a decade in the technology industry and today brings that system-driven mindset into serving premier sports, entertainment, and international clientele. Steve believes technology should elevate human service, not replace it. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. All right, let's dive into it. Steve, thank you for joining today. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. We're very glad to have you. So, for the ones that don't know you, can you do a little introduction about yourself, your beginning in real estate, and how that transition? Because for the ones that don't know, you started in technology. You were almost a decade in technology, and also I'm a little curious about what part of the technology industry were you in. But yeah, just go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So after college, my degree was in management information systems. So I got into IT. Was in the IT world for about 10 years. Mainly on the tech side, I was doing a lot of infrastructure support. So I was kind of responsible for rolling out the networks and the firewalls and the servers and all those kinds of things. And then I got toward the end of my IT career, I got into product management. So I was working with some of the large broadband providers and creating internet-based services. So web conferencing, video conferencing over the internet was what I was doing toward the end of my IT career. Um, Went through the dot bomb stock market crash. Had a bunch of stock options. Was going to be set for life. We were going to IPO, and the market fell out. We never did the IPO. So I honestly I was a little tired of kind of the politics of product management because you're responsible for everything, but you have no control over anyone. So
That's true. That's true.
yeah. So I was looking for something else to do. My brother is actually a big home builder in the Mid Atlantic, so I started helping getting him set up on all of his computer systems and getting his website set up and all those things. So that kind of gave me a little bit of exposure to real estate. And as I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, it just seemed like a lot of people make a lot of money on real estate, and it was a good, it was a good way to transition. So I actually got into it as an investor initially, and then as I started buying more houses, dealing with different agents, I thought, I think I could probably do a pretty good job of this because back then this was 24 years ago now. I was really doing anything with the internet, online marketing, email marketing, any of that kind of stuff. So I had that IT background that I thought I could transition my systems and processes and data analysis knowledge into the world of real estate. So that's kind of how I got started in it.
So, did you got into real estate investing right after the bubble, like right after the bubble? So did you go through the
Pretty much.
2008 crash then?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got into real estate in early 2002. So I mean, a couple years after the 2000 dot bomb crash, but yeah, that's when I got
Oh
into
wow!
it.
So you went to the crash of the dot com and then through the crash of real estate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
That
yeah,
that must
I've
probably was
seen
very painful.
I've seen the ups and downs of the market. I will say the market we're in now is different. It's interesting, but yeah, I've been
Yes.
through it both directions. So
Yeah, a lot of people are scared about the way the market is right now, but I've been
yeah,
through through a few cycles, and I don't think it's as bad as it was before. But
Yep.
everyone have their own opinion. It's also real estate is very focalized. It's very almost sometimes city by city, county by county, because you can have a state or a city that is not doing that well, but two or three counties are doing very good. So
Right.
it's very focalized. So how was that transition? Was it difficult at the beginning? How do you start at first? I mean, you said you were an investor. When did you decide to start core real estate? Serving actually, having a team, and then
Yeah.
if you can walk us through that a little bit. I just want to get to know you better.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So when I first got into the business, I actually went to a brokerage that was very kind of hands off. They kind of let you do your thing, and I really thought that was for me because I was doing it my way. I was bringing my IT stuff into the business, and I didn't want to deal with a bunch of meetings and training classes and all this stuff. So I did that for a few years, and then realized I don't really know a lot of the people side of things as well as I should. So ended up transitioning brokerages for some training and things like that. But kind of over the years, I just I didn't really love some of the training that we were getting in real estate, some of the ideas that I was hearing, and I just thought there was a better way. And so I kind of uh, came up with the idea of what I wanted to do with Cord back in like 2008, and I ended up suckering my now wife and our other business partner into this idea, um, and we ended up getting a little sidetracked. Did a joint venture with a builder for about 5 years, and then we kind of grew them to the point where they wanted someone that was 100% staff, and we had way too much other business. So at that point, we decided to go ahead and transition and start Cord. And so the idea with Cord from the start was focusing everything around the client experience. We just felt like a lot of brokerages were starting to fall into this thing where the client of the brokerage is the agent, and I just never really liked that
Yes,
idea.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. So it's like I think the client is the client. That's what I think. We need to make sure we're doing the best thing for the client. So so it was fully built around what do we want the client experience to be, and just kind of detailing it out to the minutia, the minute level of step by step everything that we wanted to happen. If you were a buyer, if you were a seller, if you were doing both. We structured our team a little differently than a lot of people were structuring teams back then, where you had listing agents were separate from buyer agents. I didn't like that because I thought, the client's developing a relationship with someone. It doesn't make sense to shift them to someone else halfway
Yeah.
through the process. And so that was really the goal was, making it the best experience possible for the client.
You always say that you want to challenge the traditional way real estate model is. What was it that you saw that frustrated you enough to say, you know what, let's build something different? I want to do, you know, what's what was that little thing that you saw? Hey, core has to be different.
I mean, there were a couple things. There was some training around, trying to get up market and charging higher commissions. People that have more money can afford to pay more commissions and all this stuff. And to me, the $300,000 buyer is just as important to me as the $10 million buyer or seller. We treat everyone like they are the most important person in the world at any time, because you never know where people are going to end up. And so I think a lot of the real estate industry is very transactional. Just focused on getting the deal done. We wanted to focus more on long-term relationships. Like I want to know what your life goals are and how can we help you get there. And it may not be, your first purchase is where you want to end up. It's probably not, but you got to get in the game. And so for us, it was, let us help you kind of build toward your life goals throughout multiple transactions. So it was really built more around relationships than it was transactions.
Is
Um,
that how you came out with the white glove service model that you have right now?
yeah, yeah. So I knew I wanted to build a brand around sports and entertainment and international. One, because back in '08, there was really no one doing it. Now everybody's got like a sports and entertainment division, and it's a much more popular thing. I will say when we came up with the idea of a concierge approach, it really was more like Ritz Carlton concierge. Like, we need to be able to anticipate our clients' needs, take as much off of their plates as we can, make this as easy of a process for them as we can. Um, and I think that term has kind of gotten a little bit bastardized over the years. Now people refer to concierge, and it's a lot of different things. It's, oh well, we'll handle repairs and then you pay back at closing. I mean, okay, there's an element, but it's not that's not the full scope of concierge. So for us, it was always, that white glove Ritz Carlton kind of approach.
When you say Ritz Carlton type of approach, you mean everything, like you're doing hand holding through the entire process? I mean,
Oh
what
yeah.
can a realtor learn from that process that you have right now to elevate their business?
I mean, you've got to. The big thing is you really have to get your SOPs done. You've got to fully define your processes. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for this. You're never going to be able to scale if you don't do that, because you're not going to be able to train someone to do what you do. And I can tell you, if you have the mentality that no one can do it as well as you're never going to grow. So, getting those processes extremely defined is critical for that. But it also, as you start going through things, you realize, like, okay, these are when clients are going to have questions, what's next, whatever, and I can anticipate and and answer that before they ever have to ask. So it's about anticipating the needs before they even know that they have that need, because the process is so well, and you have them so well defined. Um, and then, there's other things we try to do that are just relationship builders. They don't necessarily have anything to do with a transaction. Like, we've had clients that they weren't even in a transaction. They were, 4 or 5 years out from having done a transaction, and we saw that they were celebrating a wedding anniversary at a resort in Mexico, and we had, you know chocolates and champagne waiting for them in the room when they arrived. It's just being a lot more conscious of moving the relationship forward, being there for them for life, beyond just the real estate transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, how do you go about serving those specific clients like sports, entertainment? They're very private. They have, they're running around all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
sure
mean,
they have very specific ask. Like, I've heard that all the time. Like, if I want to have this type of orange juice, I want to have. Now, I'm assuming that the same happens when they're dealing with purchasing or selling the house.
yeah, and I mean the thing is, we try to do that for everybody, not just celebrity clients. Like, we want to serve that role for everyone. So it's not really any different for us. And a lot of times these guys they don't want necessarily more attention. You just have to be a little bit more precise. CRMs get real important. That you're tracking what they
Which one are
like,
you
how
using
they
right
like to
now?
communicate. We use Follow Up Boss currently.
Follow us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if your first thought, the first time you get a celebrity client is, what am I going to post on Instagram? Probably not ready for it right now, because it is
Yeah.
very much about discretion and privacy, and you're not going to find much on our websites or socials about high profile people we deal with, because that is
So
not for us to disclose. So
right. So how do you find these clients? Because if you're not really telling anyone that, okay, I'm serving these type of clients, is it just pure word of mouth? How they come to you?
yeah, a lot of it. I mean, that's a lot of the real estate business in general is referral based. And depending on, whether you're talking about sports or entertainment, um, there's structure around some of that too. So, a lot of times you're talking with wealth advisors and attorneys and CPAs and business managers, and all those kinds of things, and you've got to figure out how you can provide value for them, and and then it's just referral, word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm just I can only think, how do you go about finding those high profile clients if you cannot do any type of marketing? Like, what kind of marketing are you going to do in order to
Well,
find them? I mean,
you can still
it's
market. I mean, you're marketing the level of service that you provide, the things that
right.
make you unique. You're just not putting out there that oh, hey, we just worked with so and so and
Yeah,
help
right.
them buy this or sell this.
And I'm sure you're
A
signing NDAs here and there, right?
lot
At
a
some
lot
point.
of time, yeah, a lot of times there's an NDA for sure.
Now, you come from technology. Are you like super technology driven within core real estate? Like, are you developing stuff internally that other,
Yeah,
brokerages
very
or
much
teams
so.
don't have?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we've been very focused on AI for many years. Trying to build all those systems out. Um, kind of beyond tech, I would say, like largely what I do now is really just kind of trying to keep up with what's going on across multiple industries. Like we're always looking to see what are the best practices of any industry. What are people doing right in whatever manufacturing or um, magazines or name a field. What are they doing right, and how can we apply that to real estate, to what we do? Because business is business. It doesn't really matter what industry it's in. So if you can find a system or a process or a tool that you can figure out how to incorporate, I think that can make a lot of difference as well. But I think ultimately, I think a lot of people are concerned that AI is going to take away all the realtor job. But I think what the big transition has been over the years, early on, information was a little harder to come by, and so we were more a source of information. Now it's more, our value is our judgment and how to interpret the data, not just provide the data. So I think as you add more tech and build more systems around all these processes, um, you have to keep in mind that human relationship is still very important, and it probably gets more important as AI continues to roll out. Those relationships are everything.
I do agree with you, but definitely things have changed quite a bit. I mean, I think the way it's going to go is larger teams are just going to become larger, larger, and larger, right? I believe that the solo agents that are doing a lot of business are just going to do more and more and more. And to a certain degree, the agents that are not doing much are going to be kicked out of the game.
Hmm.
I believe it's going to get comprised into less agents. Do you believe that we have too many agents perhaps right now?
Well, I mean, you look at the numbers out there, and I think what is like 72% didn't sell a single property last year,
Right.
something like that. I mean, it's like, so clearly there's more agents than we need. I wish it was a little bit harder to get
To
your
get into.
license. I think they made it a little bit too easy, and I think people watch HGTV and think, oh, this is such a cush job. We just drive around in our fancy cars and go pick up commission checks every day. There's a little more involved with it. So I think
Way
it's a
more than
lot.
that.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than a lot of people realize. Coming into it, and it is a business just like any other. And so you're not just going to stumble into a big windfall of money. And maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you do. You're one of the very few lucky ones if you do, because it's a tough business. So I do think. I mean, we're already seeing consolidation. I mean, Compass is buying everyone now. I think you'll
Oh yeah.
continue to see consolidation. So I think what you'll end up with is, these mega companies that probably are a lot more um, tech AI based, just kind of run of the mill, and then you're going to have the boutique firms like us that are much more focused on the high touch relationship approach to things. And I think there's people that are going to want both of those models. So, but I think ultimately that's kind of where we land.
And people underestimate sometimes how fast things can change. I was just the other day I was thinking about how I used to search for stuff in Google, and that
Yeah.
was just 8 months ago. Like for the last 4 or 5 months, the way I search things in Google is completely different. Like
Mm.
I do not even go to I just stay in the AI search bar, and I do my prompts and everything. And probably that's me because I'm more technology driven than other people, but I think a lot of people are starting to do that. They're not even seeing what's below the search bar of the AI engine, right? So if agents don't get ahead of that and start feeding the AI through Google My Business, through their Facebook, through their Instagram, and ensuring that they appear in those AI searches, that's they're going to lose a lot of business. I think that's what's going
Oh
to
yeah,
happen, especially in some
100%. We
regions.
we we've had quite a few clients come to us from the various AI platforms over this last couple of years. I mean, we've had people come in and say, "Well, chat told me you were the people, so I'm
You are.
hiring." I mean, so we've had them from chat, we've had them from Gemini, we've had them from Grok,
Yeah, yeah.
we've had them from Claude. So yeah, I mean, it's you got to stay ahead of the game, and it's tough. And if tech isn't your background, go find someone who can help you figure out how to do it. Because I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's the,
absolutely.
that's the direction everything is going for sure. Um,
I'm not really super into AI. I understand it pretty well. I mean, my team does, so I guess that's enough. But everyone's talking about AI, AI, AI. Everyone's talking about that. So, what do you think is the second place technology, like in the second place of importance, that agents are underutilizing right now? Because everyone says, "Oh, use AI," and probably
yeah,
10% of people
yeah.
knows how to use it properly, right?
The crazy thing is, it's probably the same thing that it's been for a very very long time. It's a CRM.
Right.
There are so many agents that are operating out there that do not have a CRM and have no defined processes. There's no like checklist or anything of these things have to happen. They just kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and I just man, that's that's not a great way of doing it. So I mean, I honestly I'd say CRM is more important than the AI. Quite honestly,
Yeah.
I'd say AI is number two to a CRM.
Got you, got you. So, how do you define what processes have to be automated through your CRM? I mean, how do you go about, what things I want my client to be just receiving automated responses or texts or emails, whatever that may be?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it as what what can be automated that's not going to affect the human aspect of things, right? So, like AI is great for administrative things, kind of first drafts of emails or marketing pieces or things like that. But AI is not right for negotiations or judgment or looking someone in the eye and understanding tone and body language and those kinds of things. Like the human element has to be it still has to be in there. So I don't think you can automate everything out of it. We just look for what we can automate to improve efficiencies and honestly to improve the client experience. We don't want tech to kind of remove the human side to it. We kind of want to make it more human. We want to make the tech almost invisible to the client. Like it's still got to be about the relationship.
That's a good one. Make tech invisible to the client, although it affects the outcome of the relationship. Do you use ISAs by any chance or no? Like appointment setter, stuff like that?
So we've gone through a lot of iterations of different ways of doing it, outsourcing, in-house. We've had the agents kind of do that role on their own as well. We've done various different AI platforms. Right now, it's kind of a mix of an AI platform that I actually sit on their advisory board. I've been kind of helping them develop it over the last couple of years, so we use that a lot for kind of our first reach outs to like Google leads and social media leads and things like that. For like straight referrals and much warmer leads, those go kind of straight to the agent for the reach out. But that's the way we do it now. I'm not saying that's the right way or the wrong way, but
Yeah, because I was
um,
listening to an AI the other day. You could tell a little bit that it's an AI, and it's a very popular one. I'm not going to say the name here, but it's
mm,
everyone is using it right now. But you could tell. But I mean, my friends and colleagues were like, "Oh, you cannot tell." I was like, "Yeah, you could tell." I mean, no one talks like that, right?
yeah,
No one talks like that. So if you pay attention a little bit, you can tell. But it's working.
yeah,
People are setting appointments through AIs. I'm just wondering if it's going to be regulated at some point, right? Like, that's the only thing I can think of that may change the game. The
yeah,
government comes and say, "Hey, nope, this has to be regulated." Maybe you're gonna have to announce right at the beginning of the call, this is an AI voice and it's not
yeah.
a real person, right? And then the whole interaction is gonna be thrown out of the window, because if you know that you're dealing with AI, I mean, I don't know how people will react to it, right? That's why I was asking about automation, because that's a big step, like setting the
Yeah.
appointment, getting information initially, and then transferring all of that to the agent, right?
Yeah. So honestly, we're upfront about it. I mean, it introduces itself as CHORD's AI assistant, or whatever agent, Cheryl's AI assistant or whatever. And the way when we reach out to clients is, I have my AI kind of reach out when I'm tied up in appointments, which hopefully that's what the agent is doing largely, is relationship building or negotiating deals. So I think a lot of people don't really want to talk to a salesperson anyway on the front end of things. When you get these internet leads in, they never want to talk to anyone. They don't want the hassle of that. So I think people are going to get a lot more comfortable dealing with AI, and the system that we use. It's kind of neat in what it does. It learns the MLS completely, and updates nightly. It analyzes all the photography. It overlays all the like the Google mapping information, so like how close it is to the gym or the Starbucks or whatever's interesting to you. And it can go through and find properties for the lead very quickly, and send them a text and review them in real time with them while they're on the phone. It's pretty crazy what capability it has. So, I think from a client perspective, there are some people that don't like it. Um, Often it's an older client that doesn't like it, but
Yeah.
but
Hey,
but
but those
a
are
lot of people,
those are the house owners right now, right? The majority of
that's
them
right.
are house owners.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
I
thinking,
mean,
yeah, I'm thinking how it's gonna go about those folks adopting the technology. I think that's where I think AI is not gonna take a huge role yet, because there has to be adoption, like always,
yeah.
and adoption is not gonna be overnight. It's gonna take quite a few years.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like for like internet leads where they really don't want to talk to an agent anyway. I think having AI engage those is great. For a referral, that's I think that's definitely something more for a human to be the first person to reach out. But yeah, I think probably as we get more and more into this, further into a transaction, the AI is probably working more with the agent than the client. More as an assistant. Monitoring communications, recommending like, oh hey, I saw they asked this. Here's a few properties that might work for them. Do you want me to send these to them? That kind of thing. And so I think there's going to be more engagement between the AI and the agent as you get further into the transaction. But on the initial side of things, for you know I guess lower level leads or whatever, to have AI reach out to those first.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do a lot of traveling, right? And
Yeah.
how's that influence the way you do real estate? Do you have you seen that real estate is way different in other parts of the world? Are you investing in other parts of the world right now?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try to make this a quick story. So, well, it'll be a long, quick story or quick, long story.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's okay.
so my wife and I have always loved international travel. We were traveling to the Caribbean quite a bit. A lot of people here in Nashville will go down to Florida. It's 30A area of Florida. We jokingly call Nashville's beach. But we we started to get tired of Florida because it was just getting so crowded, and so we started going to the Caribbean more and more and more. And so just us, we're like, we should think about purchasing something in the Caribbean, just so we have a place to go and kind of home base or whatever. Maybe eventually snowbird too. And so we started looking at that process, and then I ended up I got COVID back in the end of 2021. Ended up in the hospital for 4.5 months on a ventilator.
Oh
Had about
wow.
every complication you can imagine: lungs collapsed, heart failure, kidney failure, 10 blood transfusions, giant bed sore, part of my tailbone fell out. Lost 65 pounds. Was pronounced brain dead for 4 days.
Oh wow.
So
Crazy.
yeah, so coming out of that, we were like, yeah, healthcare is probably a bigger priority for us than we had thought about. So we started looking at, well, what are some international options where we could get that sort of tropical vibe, but they still have great healthcare. And so that drove us personally to Panama. But as we started posting about all this, you get into all the citizenship by investment programs or residency programs, and you've got all these, like the Shenzhen zone in Europe, or you've got some Asian zones, some South American zones, some Central American zones, and so you start looking at all these benefits, and we started posting about all this stuff, and we had clients that started reaching out to us like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, I'm kind of interested in this too, and so that just kind of naturally birthed CHORD International. So we started building all these teams abroad, vetting local agents, property managers, attorneys for real estate transactions, and also for residency and citizenship, vetting developers, make sure they were all legit on the up and up, and we're going to finish projects. And so we started building out this international team. Um, and there are nuances, obviously. I mean, there's different um, closing cost structures, tax structures. There's culturally things can be a little different sometimes. Some areas are a whole lot more laid back. It's the mañana culture, uh, or
Mañana lo
I'll,
hacemos.
I'll get to that kind of now, which is like at some point. So you just have to understand some of those cultural differences. But I mean, overall, for the most part, it's not.
But they're happy countries, though. A lot of those are happy. People live very happily in those
Oh
countries
yeah,
since they're
100%,
somewhat laid
hundred
back,
percent.
right?
Yeah.
You just gotta adapt to it. So do you ended up investing in the Caribbean or Panama in these areas, or no?
Yeah, so we bought a couple of properties in Panama. I at some point still probably do something in the Caribbean. We loved Saint Lucia and Grenada. We're honestly right now we want to buy something kind of on every continent. Well, not Antarctica, but the rest. And so we're looking at different areas where we're interested. I like Uruguay. Paraguay actually just came out with a program that's pretty interesting though too. I like Greece and Europe. I like Thailand. My wife
So you're all
actually.
over the place, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're going places right now, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
My
was I
my
was
wife
born in
speaks some
Panama, by the
Japanese. So.
way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in Panama. I lived there for about 20 some years.
Very cool.
Um,
What part?
yeah, I'm no longer Panama City. Well, I was born in
Yeah,
Chiriquí.
sure. Yeah.
If you know Chiriquí, it's like the
Yep.
border with Costa Rica. I
Hmm.
just spent there maybe 3 4 years. I don't really remember much about Chiriquí. Then we moved to the city. But I left Panama probably 12, 14 years ago, something like that. Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, I visit from time to time.
Hmm.
Skyscrapers and all the stuff. There's now a new subway line and construction
Yeah.
everywhere, and it
Yeah.
looks like it's booming. But I I don't know. I just I live in Italy as well. I live in Spain. I live in Mexico. So I like to move around a little bit, from time to
Yeah.
time. Every 5, 6 years, I go somewhere else. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Panama because Panama does have a good healthcare system overall,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and they have it's quite of a technological city. They they have I think right now 3 subway lines. They're building another one. They're trying to build another one's going to connect the city with the border all the way to Costa
Yeah.
Rica. So it's not inexpensive like other Central American countries, I would say, but um, but I would think Costa Rica is probably more expensive than Panama overall because I've been to Costa Rica quite a bit.
Yeah, Costa Rica is more expensive. Colombia is going to be less expensive than Panama, but I think Panama is really interesting because they never really focused on tourism. It was an international business hub,
Yep, they do
so
not.
the economy is just so solid there. And I think now they're just investing so much money in infrastructure. They're always widening the canal and doing all those kinds of things, but with the extra highway lanes and subways and extra bridges over the canal and all the
Yep.
stuff they're doing. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. One of the ones we bought overlooks the Bridge of Americas and the ocean. It's oceanfront right there. The other one is up the Pacific coast a little bit at Playa Caracol, which is a
Yep. Yeah. Black Caracol.
7 mile white sand beach. To me, that's like Florida, 40, 50 years ago, before all the development. So it's just like there's just so
Yeah.
much wide open and so much going on there. I think they're starting to get noticed now. I've seen more and more celebrities talk about
Yeah,
Panama.
that's true. And they
And
have
so
these
tourism's coming.
clinics, where they go and do this,
Yeah, yeah.
new
Stem cell.
treatments and it's stem cell, right? Mel
Yeah,
Gibson was talking about the other day in Joe Rogan
yeah,
podcast. Yeah, that's right. There's another one
yeah.
in Mexico and Tijuana, I think. But yeah, yeah, that's true. And they're dollar based for the ones that don't know. Panama is dollar
Yep,
based, and they have a solid and robust banking system.
yep.
I'm trying to sprinkle it there a little bit
No,
about Panama, but I
great.
know a lot about Panama because I lived there for
Yeah,
20 some
yeah,
years. So
yeah. We love
it's all
it.
about
I
it.
mean, I think we'll probably retire there at some point.
Yeah, good, good. I probably want to retire in Madrid because I live in Spain a lot too. I
Sure.
just love Madrid a lot. I probably, if I have to retire somewhere, I would say Madrid is the place I will go. Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's having some immigration issues and stuff like that. But hopefully in 20 years, 25 years when I retire, it's going
Right.
to be fine. Okay, so you've done a lot of international traveling.
Mhm.
You serve sport uh, athletes. You serve, celebrities. Court, it's white glove. Where is it going after? You have all these projects. Everything seems to be, plowing forward very nicely. Is there anything else in the horizon for you that you want to work on?
Um, we're always looking at jokingly, my title is chief troublemaker. So I'm always looking at how we can sort of break things that we're doing now and make them better. So we're always looking to improve our level of service. Yeah, there was one point when I thought when we started with a sports and entertainment brand, we want to expand into all the sports and entertainment markets across the country. I'll be 55 this year. Honestly, I don't know.
You're
I
still
don't know if
pretty
I want to
young,
work
man.
that hard.
I mean, you're still decent. You know why they said that the 50s are the new 30s? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
everyone in their 50s, have now the energy of a 30-some-year-old guy.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
38 right
But
now. I feel like if I was 25, 26, like I have a lot of energy. I work hard every day, and
yeah,
hopefully I'm gonna live another 30, 40 years.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, but we're looking at like ancillary services and things like that, like insurance and those kinds of things. But honestly, I really like what we're doing internationally. I want to continue to grow that market. I think there's pretty good service for like the uber wealthy, the 7 figure incomes.
Right.
Uh, there's decent services for people that are just looking to like maximize their social security income living abroad. But I think for people like me, that are making kind of like 200 to a million a year, there's not. a lot of companies that are really focused on that niche for international deals. And so I think that's kind of our target, is just helping people very similar to us, with whatever they want to do abroad.
Awesome, awesome. Well, what a coincidence that you're dealing in all these countries. Whenever you have any questions, I mean, I have a lot of contacts still down there. Whenever, if we can stay in touch, whenever you have questions about all these countries in general, like I used to live in Colombia as well. I used to live
Okay.
in Medellin. I have a lot of people down there that
Love
I deal
managing.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was married to a Colombian. We're divorced now, but we're still good friends. So, but yeah, I have a lot of friends down there. A lot of friends in Costa Rica in business, in Panama, Nicaragua, Salvador as well. Not so much in Honduras, but still, I mean, it's a very dangerous
Yeah.
country, or Guatemala either. But like all these other countries, if you ever need help, let me know. Um, I call this section rapid fire questions. So I just want to ask a couple of rapid fire questions. You can give me
Sure.
one word answer if you want. So what is the number one book that you recommend every agent or every business person to always read?
But probably kind of depends on what stage you're in. I like Human Dynamics, which is like a precursor to all the emotional intelligence books that came out. I like Rocket Fuel, which talks about having a visionary and an implementer. I think that's important.
Right.
Luckily, we kind of ended up that way with business partners, but it was unintentional. And then if you're scaling, I like Ideal Team Player. It talks about hiring people that are hungry, humble, and smart. Kind of explains what that means, but um, probably those depending on where you're at in your business.
There you go. I was going to ask you, technology real estate professionals are underutilizing, but you answered that one already when you said CRM. So I
Yeah, one hundred
guess
percent.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Uh, what is the one international market that you're most excited about?
Hey, Panama. I mean,
Panama. There you go.
I think Panama's got so much. But it depends on the client what they're interested in. Like if someone is looking at Europe, I like Greece. It just depends on what their needs are, what their interests are. We try to get very specific with them on their goals. Doesn't matter what I like personally. It's what do they like? What
Of
do they
course.
want? What lifestyle are they looking for?
Well, the questions are for you. So yeah, if you're more excited about Panama, that's what it is.
Yeah.
One opportunity in real estate you believe people are overlooking right now.
Honestly, this probably goes back to the CRM. I think agents leave so much business on the table just because they don't keep up with the people they've already converted, the people that are already in their database. There's a lot of gold in there, and unfortunately, I think agents are just terrible about being consistent with communications and keeping those relationships going. So I go back to the CRM again on that one.
There you go. There you go. Well, one last message that you want to give everyone that is watching this episode, probably north of 100,000 people will watch it. So what do you want to say to them?
Wow. Oh, okay.
It's a loaded question, right?
Yeah, man, that's just kind of wide open. Um, I think just kind of looking at the future of this business. We kind of talked about you're going to have a lot of consolidation, and you're probably still going to see these boutique brokerages as well. I would say just don't get discouraged that AI is going to be the end of everything. I think the human element is still needed. These are typically very emotional transactions, and I don't think AI is well designed to handle emotional people. And so I just say keep keeping your business human.
That there you go. Keep it human. Well, thank you very much, Steve. I highly appreciate you coming here. And if you don't mind, I'll add you in Facebook and Instagram. Anytime you
Sure.
go down
Yeah.
there, just let me know if you need any help or whatever. I'm here for you.
Cool.
So thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much for coming in.
All right.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me.
Steve, thank you for sharing your experience and giving us a different perspective on where real estate is heading. I think today's conversation is a great reminder that innovation doesn't have to come at the expense of relationships. When technology, systems, and great service work together, they can actually make human experience even better. And to everyone watching, if you found value in today's episode, make sure to follow, like, share, and leave us a comment. Until next time, keep innovating, keep rising the standard, and keep cracking the code.